Hello, Facebook group. Hello, Get Real people. It's been a while since I did a Facebook Live thing, and I just kind of felt the need to do it again. What's prompted this for me is that I have been coming across so many people that on a daily basis are asking me about different modeling opportunities, different things that they think that they might do or that they want to do, and they keep asking me about, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? How am I going to do this? And I'm noticing people that are jumping through hoops trying to get somewhere in the modeling industry, and they're having a very hard time doing it. And I really believe that there is a huge, widespread, almost an attack on the actual real industry. And the poor model hopefuls are actually part of the cycle. So we're going to kind of explore that a little bit tonight and then kind of address the question of what can we do about it. Um, there's so many people that are hitting a place where they have great hopes and great dreams and they're being dashed. And on the way to that spot, they're also spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So I wanted to kind of address this issue and see if there's something that we all collectively can do to help. So hopefully, this kind of will have an impact. That's what I'm hoping to do. So really, modeling jobs are becoming fewer and fewer. It's an actual fact. Now that doesn't mean they're not out there. It doesn't mean they're not there for the taking, but they are getting fewer and fewer. And the basic reason why, as these hopefuls are trying to break into the business, and these young models and newbies and those that are amateurs, they're trying so hard. But people know, there's people out there that know that there is almost anything that people will do to try and move forward. So I'm going to call them charlatans. There are charlatans out there that are taking advantage of the people that are hopeful. They will tell them what they want to hear. They will offer them stardom and success and placement and connections that they don't have. All sorts of things, just trying to get the model's hopes up. They create these very large events where there's lots of people giving the idea that there's lots of competition, so that every compliment that they receive, that the talent receives, they feel like it's a big deal because there's so much competition in the very room that they're in. So they take it to heart and they feel like they're getting a big opportunity when others are not. This isn't often the case, actually. So here's these charlatans. They're doing this to the hopefuls. They're doing this to their families. I have one actor that is, or actor or model, I should say, signed to me, and he let me know that his mother, on her deathbed, was crying and saying that she was sorry that she didn't have the money to get him into modeling. And if it was that expensive for her to get him into modeling, then it probably wasn't a real opportunity in the first place, and she probably dodged a bullet. And it's very upsetting that she would feel that bad as to bring that up at that point in time in her life. But that's how much they're preying upon the feelings of parents that want to give their kids the best that they possibly can and want to help feed their hopes and their dreams and their goals. And these people know this. So they're targeting, usually they're hitting the teen market, the kid market. There is some adults that are involved in this that get taken by this whole idea. And that kind of starts the whole cycle. So tonight, what we're going to discuss, we're going to go through a little bit about why you should listen to me, what my opinion means, where I'm from. I know that you're in my group, so you might know a little bit about me. But there's a lot of you in here. Not all of you are assigned to me. Not all of you are part of my other group. So I kind of want to give a little bit of a background. Then I want to talk about the cycle as it happens to the talent and what's going on there. And then we're going to discuss the falsities, the untruths, the lies. They're actually lies, and what those are and how to keep an eye out for them. And after that, we're going to talk about knowing your actual market. How do you find the jobs? If they're out there and people are making paychecks every day, then how is it that you can find them? So we're going to discuss that a little bit. Now, there's limitations. Every person has them. We're going to discuss what your limitations will be in trying to find different opportunities. Then we're going to talk about what we can do about it. And by we, I don't just mean my companies. My companies can be involved, yes, for sure, if you wish. But we as a collective group, we as the hopefuls, we as the talent that's out there, whether you're a professional, whether you're not professional, any of us that are wanting to stay involved in this industry, what can we all collectively do to cause a change in this trajectory? I'm going to talk a little bit about self-protection and protecting yourself. So we're going to talk about that too, and then I'm going to give you some information so that you can get in touch, and then how we would follow up with you to see if we can help you along your own personal path. So that's kind of where we're going to go with this tonight. Um, my history, where I came from, started on a runway at age 5. Did my first print catalog at age 3. My mother was a model. My dad was a photographer and video producer. My mom owned a major franchise company when I was 11. So I was part of this industry for my entire lifetime, and now it's been passed on to my kids because I truly believe that it has its good places, and it can be really positive, and it can be really something that's very enriching and worthwhile. So it is a multi-generational family that I've been a part of. I'm kind of right in the middle at this point. Who knows what's going to happen to my kids' kids when they have them? But perhaps they'll be involved in the same thing. I don't know. And why? Because we love it. We love the creativity. We love the enjoyment of it. And that's something that, a lot of people feel too when they start getting into this industry. They like the confidence boosts. They like the limelight and the stardom. They like the glamour. They like the fashion. They like all of these things, the creativity. And all of these things are good. All of these things are great. So it's kind of part of why people don't stop. They don't like to slow down. They don't like to start picking and choosing. What's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you, and it causes a lot of craziness. But my lifetime being first a coach, and then first a talent, then a coach, then an agency. I've now been an agent for 7 years. And in that time frame, it has never stopped that people come to me multiple times a day and ask me if something is real and if something is good. And I do my research and I look into it and I check and I try and find out, because I don't like telling people, no, you didn't find a real opportunity there. No, you really probably shouldn't do that. I don't enjoy that conversation, but I do like helping people to dodge the bullet. That I do appreciate the outcome, but it saddens me. And I'm wanting to make sure that people start to understand and grasp what's real and what's not real. So that's why I made Get Real. That's why I called it Get Real. I wanted you to get the reality of the industry, but I also wanted you to get real and true and honest in your own abilities, shortcomings, strengths, performances, putting your heart into things. That's really what I wanted to see. So that's why I called it that. And I've been here all this time doing this for a long time. I don't know how many models I've met. I don't know how many actors I've met. I don't know how many designers I've met. I don't know how many fashion shows I've been to. I don't know how many people I've helped sign with other agencies. I don't know. It's too numerous to mention. I don't stop doing this. I'm very passionate about this industry. I love it very much. I do tend to stay in a smaller market. I do like to be, I was in Florida, and then, and now I'm in North Carolina, and I'm helping people in the Southeast U.S. And yeah, Miami's a big market in the Southeast U.S. Atlanta's a big market in the Southeast U.S. But for the most part, a lot of my people are in smaller towns, and they're trying to figure out how to work within those smaller towns. So I kind of consider myself a stepping stone on the path for some people that wish to work someplace else and build up their skills and build up their abilities, and then, move on. And then I like to, help them to work in their own local market if they don't have any aspirations to leave, if they don't really want to do the traveling, if they want to just be home and do things more on a part-time kind of basis. I'm here to help people do both. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm not going to go too far into it. There's a whole big story there, and if you want to watch that, that's on my New Faces videos and my meeting that comes up on the first Friday of the month. So that'll be coming up for December. So you can hear the whole thing then, but I'm not going to go into it too much. Just a bit of like what I have seen. So let's talk about the cycle, the life cycle of the hopeful model. What's been happening a great deal is that the cycles have been, we start in this huge line, you start in this huge room, it's a giant model call, sounds like a great idea, let's go do this big model call. Usually a company has told you a lot about success stories and the question, do you want to be, do you want to do this? By the way, when they ask that question, that is a question. It's not a promise, and it doesn't mean that they have ever accomplished what it is that they're hyping. Now, most of the time they're going, does your kid want to be on Disney? Do you want to be on Netflix? Do you want to, be a New York model? Do you want to walk in New York Fashion Week? Now, those are the things that they say. That doesn't mean that they've actually accomplished that they've got someone on Netflix, that they've got someone in Disney, that they've got someone in New York Fashion Week. It doesn't mean that. It's just asking if you want to. So, truth in advertising, they only asked a question. They can get by with that. So be careful when you hear that. But that's how it starts, and it gets all these people to come to whatever location they're in, or to get online now. Now it's big Zoom calls. So either way, it causes a big flurry of people and a big flurry of nervousness, and they're all excited and they really want to do this, and they listen to a talk. Now, the talk usually progresses through a list of people that they look at you like you should know, like their celebrity names, like they should be like A-listers or something. And they'll throw out these names of people you've never heard of and kind of look at you like you're ridiculous if you don't know who that is. And they'll say that they found them or they discovered them or whatever. Sometimes they'll word that carefully. They'll say things like, so-and-so came to us. That doesn't mean they signed with you. That doesn't mean you instigated. I guess instigated. Doesn't mean that you help propel them forward. Doesn't mean that. You've got to listen to the words very carefully. Is that company saying they're an agency? Very often they won't even use the word agent. If they use the word management, now sometimes that could be legitimate management. Sometimes it's really not. There are different states around that have agency licensing laws where you have to, if you're going to represent people and you're going to book them into jobs and take a commission from doing so, you have to have an agency license. So sometimes they use the word management to avoid being considered as an agency. But people automatically assume it's an agency. They automatically assume it's a real audition. I talked to a woman yesterday who said she went to this audition and her son had to read a commercial. And I asked her what the commercial was, and she said, I want to say it was Diet Coke. Yeah, it was Diet Coke. And I said to her, does it start with something about being cool isn't about what you wear. It's not about the soft drink you drink. It eventually comes to that. And it's like, or is it? It's about your inner self. It just says all these things. And I'm like, that's Pepsi. It's Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. And then she went, that was the one. And I'm like, yeah, they've been using that since 1999. I've heard that commercial since 1999. You're not auditioning for a Pepsi commercial. It's not happening because that commercial is really, 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 really old. So this is what they do, though. They make you think this. So that's the next phase. Then they give you the pressure. Well, they tell you they'll let you know if you're accepted, or they'll tell you right then and there, and they'll move you into another room. So they create this illusion that you have now been approved to be a part of their organization, and then they hit you with money that they want paid up front, probably for training, possibly for an event, possibly for photos, possibly to be on a website. Those are things that they will ask for. Now, they will not state most of the time that they are going to place you or help book you or submit you to things. They don't state that most of the time. They will say that they will introduce you to their connections. So if that's what they're trying to do is market you to somebody else who may or may not sign you, give you an opportunity, submit you to things, then that's not where they make their money. So they'll push you and they'll say that you need to do this right now because we only have so many people that we can work with, and there's already 3 people that look like you and they're down the hall. And that's what they'll say. So in order to get, usually it's a large chunk of money. In order to get a large chunk of money, they make it sound like it's a really big opportunity, like it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing, like you need to jump on this now or you're missing a whole bunch of opportunities or somebody else is going to get your spot. And that's what they do. So, okay, so then you sign this piece of paper. After you sign the piece of paper, you move into the training. Now, the training is usually, and there are companies that don't use this tactic, by the way. There are some that find, other ways, or they're doing something, a little calmer, a little nicer. They're getting word spread around about what a great modeling coach they are and that kind of thing. But a lot of times, okay, so now you move into the classes, and the person that's usually running the classes is lovely. They're lovely. They're beautiful models. Well, it's hard to call them models. They're beautiful people. Sometimes they've actually modeled, sometimes they haven't modeled. A lot of the times they have not been paid ever to model. So if you come across a modeling coach that can't talk about the paid jobs that they got, or you don't hear anything about what kind of resume that they had, that's probably a red flag. If you really don't believe that this person has been paid to be in anything over $100, then it's probably not someone who's coach worthy. There are many companies that are using people that graduated from the classes and did well in the classes, in their opinion, and turning them into coaches and giving them some sort of curriculum and telling them that they can go through it and teach based on, what we're doing this week and what we're doing the next week. But those people aren't necessarily qualified to watch you pose, to watch you walk, to understand how to tell you what you need to do to alter the body's habits that you've had for a long time, or give you new ideas about things that you need in order for you to market yourself well. They don't understand all of that because that's not what they really do. So they're going off of a curriculum and doing that. So they'll have people walking and walking and walking and walking, and they'll say good, and that's pretty much how it goes over and over again. So you've spent a lot of money. You've now been put in these hands with these lovely people that really maybe mean well, maybe don't understand that they don't know what they don't know. And they move you into, okay, so now you need photo shoots. So they'll take you, they might sell you the photo shoot. Sometimes they'll sell you a photo shoot, and the photographer, they won't even tell you who that is ahead of time. Just that it's someone that they've approved, and it's industry standard quality, and that's what you're going to do. So then you move into this photo shoot situation. Is the photographer going to be any good? Are they not going to be any good? How many photos do you get out of it? How many looks are you going to do? Is there a hair and makeup person there? Is any of that going on? What is going to happen with these pictures? Are they going to be edited? Are they not edited? Do you get to choose them? Or are they choosing them for you? These questions do not even get touched upon. It's just we're going to set you up to get some photos done. So that happens next. Then they'll start sending you to fashion shows. And very often they are fashion shows where either you have to pay. Now I have seen these be a flat fee. Like, come to New York and it's a $2,000 model fee for an experience, a New York Fashion Week experience. So I've seen that. I've seen that it's a design fee, garment fee, wardrobe fee, registration fee, all these things to charge the models to go walk. I saw one thing that was you can pay to have a shorter dress, or you can pay more to have a dress that's cocktail length, or you can pay the most to have a full-length couture gown on, but you can pay even more than that if you want wings. They were charging models for wings. So these things go on. So you go and do a bunch of those. That's the next phase. Going through all these fashion shows and going and doing that. And you'll feel like you're getting experience, and you'll feel like you're getting some time on a stage under your belt. And yeah, that's going to do some confidence boosting. But basically everyone's going to tell you did great, but you're still not paid. Some of them are for charity. If it's for charity and it's a legitimate charity, like it's benefiting, I did one show that was for seeing eye dogs for blind children. I did another one that was for breast cancer. I've done ones that were for the American Cancer Society. I've done ones, we're working on some for Dress for Success. So those things are really donations. We fundraise, we give them a donation. So that's things that are close to our hearts, and that's nice to do. You don't want to get stuck doing a whole bunch of charity stuff all the time and never getting paid, but those on occasion are okay. The pay to play stuff, that's just not a good idea. So anyway, the next phase, after you've got photos that aren't getting you booked, and you've got runway experience that isn't giving you exposure in front of anyone who's really going to give you any opportunity, then you end up kind of like going, wait a minute, what's wrong here? Something's wrong here. And as you start to think about it and ponder it, you start to wonder, have I been lied to? Have I been ripped off? Have I been promised things that I shouldn't have been promised? Do I have had any business being in this industry at all? Maybe I should just quit. You know, everybody seems to be doing the same thing. Everybody keeps coming to me with the same types of opportunities, and I don't know what to do. There's so many models that hit that point. And okay, they're being pumped up and made excited, and then it amounts to nothing. And it's really, really difficult to deal with. But there are different types of these situations that are out there. And you'll find them on Facebook, you'll find them on Instagram, they'll find you on Facebook and Instagram. For the most part, they're not actual agencies. Watch for them to use that word. If they actually use the word agency, then perhaps they are booking. But you might want to go to their website and look if their agency website looks like it's geared towards trying to sell the models to a client and show off the models to the client, or look at it and go, does it look like they're just trying to recruit a bunch of models? Because if they're looking like they're trying to get anybody to come and submit, audition, whatever, if it's talking about how well you can do if you come there as a model, then it's not geared towards selling the models as a business. So where's their money coming from? Always ask that question when you look at websites. Now, so we've got not actual agencies, underqualified coaches, fake fashion weeks. And by that I say there's people doing New York Fashion Week that's not on the official calendar, and they're getting away with using the term. There was a loophole in the copyright as it was being registered. It never got fully registered. People have been using it forever now, and it's all discombobulated, so they're getting away with it. Check the official New York Fashion Week calendars before you actually think that you're walking in a New York Fashion Week show, because you're probably not. Pay to play, already talked about that. There's Instagram and Facebook scams going on out there too. If they're going to pay you ahead of time, and then you're supposed to show up or do the job or whatever, and they're going to give you like some pay up front, that does not happen in the real world. That does not happen in real modeling bookings. So do not expect that to be real. And if they come at you that way, they're probably going to try and pass a counterfeit check, and then drain your bank account in the process. Run, block them, whatever it is you have to do to get away from those. But those commonly come up on Facebook and Instagram. So be very, very careful. Another thing that's out there is overpriced conventions. They're trying to tell you that they're going to introduce you to all these big names. Now, they do pay some of these bigger agencies and major market agencies to come in and scout the talent. They will do that. But can you actually really, are you planning to move to LA, or are you planning on moving to New York? They don't talk about how they'd really like you to do that if you're going to end up signing with them. So very often it's an opportunity you really can't benefit from unless you happen to be somebody that's ready to make that kind of a change in your life. If that's the case, okay, that's fine. But I go twice a year to the industry network, and there's usually between 50 some and 70 some people there that are VIPs. And that amount of people for not like $10,000. There's some places that are charging like $10,000. Not necessary. That's totally not necessary. And then there are some places that are introducing people to 5 or 6 or 7 agencies. You know, I've heard up to 12 for the same price as the industry network when you do it, you know, through me. There's other companies that are going there and they're overcharging. But that's That's not the same thing. You don't want one that's overpriced. You don't want one that has very little training to get you ready for it. I mean, you might not be ready for meeting these people. You don't want one that's going to only introduce you to a few choice people. You know, there's sometimes very specific criteria that these companies are looking for, and they already have a bunch of people. So you have to be really unique and unusual, or you know, something that they don't have to need you right now. So if there's only a few of them, then your choices aren't that high. If you see 12 people and you get one callback, you're lucky. So think about that, the amount of money it costs to participate in these things based on the possibility of having an ample opportunity for you. So be careful of the conventions too. Um, who will really hire you? Who will really actually hire you? Who's hiring people? Okay, so the function of an agent. My place in the food chain is I'm the one that has to go find talent, kind of weed through them. I got to check and see if they're ready, if they're good, if they're capable, if they're going to be professional, if they're going to be pleasant, if they're going to be nice, you know, all of these things. And you look on backstage.com, and all the people that are on there, very few of them look like they even know how to find a professional headshot. So we can tell really quickly if you have any sort of knowledge whatsoever. So if you look at it, it's really a needle in a haystack. I was just trying to find some people. I had a very specific casting for a bridal wear company, and they needed specific heights, specific measurements, and I thought I'd try Backstage. So I go on to Backstage, and I had over 100 people reply. I asked 3 questions. I asked for their measurements. I asked if they were signed exclusively to anyone else, and I asked where they were located. I might have asked no, their ages are on there. So I only asked those 3 questions. Out of 100 people who answered me, I think it was 97, but somewhere around there, close to 100 people, 3 people actually answered all 3 questions. So the people that are on there, they're not professional, and it's a needle in a haystack. So most of the real legitimate bookings, they'll go on there and they'll try it a few times. They'll realize that it's just a ton of work, and then they'll go, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go to an agency. And they'll know that the weeding through process has already happened. They don't have to deal with that. So agencies are valuable in that way. We do have access to castings that you won't be able to see on any of these casting networks, on these casting platforms. They allow agencies to see things you can't see. For the real New York Fashion Weeks, those are booked through agencies. So if you think that you're getting into one that's not through one of the New York agencies, you're probably mistaken. Make sure, if you think that that's who you are and that you're capable of walking in a New York Fashion Week, then that's where you need to go. Don't try and go through another little. I'm a local agent. I'm not sending people to New York Fashion Week. I'd send them to other agencies to get them into New York Fashion Week, but I'm not sending them directly to New York Fashion Week. They won't contact me for that because my models don't live in New York. There's New York models in New York already. That's where they are. That's what they're doing. They don't live elsewhere and fly in for this stuff because that's too dicey. If they're going to pay the big bucks, they don't want to have something happen to your plane. So they want you to be there. Be there ahead of time, be there on the ground all the time. They want you to be part of that world. So that's where they go to hire. They go to the big New York agencies. Commercial print. A lot of places will talk to you about commercial print if you don't have a high fashion look. Now, the crazy thing is, most people don't understand commercial print is 80% of the industry. Nobody's taking pictures of themselves smiling and putting it in their portfolio. Why not? Most of the ads that you look at, people are smiling and happy and using a product and they love it. Yeah, some of it's high fashion commercial stuff, ad stuff, but a lot of it is not. So there is work there, and you don't have to be told to have it, but you do have to make your images appear like the ads that you're trying to apply for. So if you happen to be a petite model and you want to do commercial print, you need more lifestyle kind of photos, things where you're smiling, things where you're having a great time, not the brooding, you know, fully made up face. So start thinking about what it is that you're gearing yourself towards and who you're trying to sell yourself to and what kind of ads would you take. Those ads pay very nicely, very nicely. So don't cut your nose off. One of the things in print, whether it's fashion print or commercial print, the people that are not hiring you are photographers. Photographers should be hired by the ad executives, by the casting people, by those people who are part of the production of the shoot, and not they're not hiring the models. They're not paying the models. A photographer might give a model like $100 here or there, so he can get them in their portfolio. But that's pretty much it. You're not going to make really good model pay from photographers. They're lucky if they're getting paid too. So find the ones that are getting paid and try and shoot with them, sure, but don't expect them to be the ones that hire you or pay you. That's not their job. Their job is to take pictures. Okay, local runway versus high fashion runway. There are some local shows in most towns, whether it's something that happens in one of the local malls or a boutique or something like that. You can acclimate yourself to what's happening in your own fashion area and find the ones that are connected to a larger company. Not necessarily brand new emerging designers. Brand new emerging designers have not sold their clothes yet, and they're trying to. So they don't really want to pay a bunch of models because they don't have the budget to do that yet, not knowing if they're going to get a return on their investment. It's a business. Yes, it's artsy and it's wonderful and it's creative and it's fun. But the freebie shows have the emerging designers most of the time. Some of them have some sort of budget to invest in something and pay models. A lot of them do not. So that's important. Pay attention to that. But there are some local runway shows which will pay well. I got paid $800 to walk in a show that I changed my glasses. It was an eyewear fashion show at a convention on Sanibel Island in Florida, and all I had to do was change my glasses 7 times. And I got paid a lot for that day, so that was very nice. Super easy, super easy. I got paid once $95 an hour for 8 hours a day for 5 days in a row, just to tell people to get on a bus for a model home. It was a promotional job. It paid me really well. High fashion runway, if you are capable, think about that. I hope I'm still recording okay, because like this is I'm getting internet stuff, which okay, not much I can do about it. Oh, I forgot to record this whole thing. Maybe I'll stay. Anyway, I think it just records by itself. I don't remember. It's Facebook. I haven't done this in a while. Okay. So now you get some ideas about who's actually able to help you get jobs. There are promotions companies. If you're a brand new model and you want to try and pay for your modeling classes, you want to try and pay for some travel, you want to pay for a photographer to shoot a comp card, or well, you shouldn't pay for a whole portfolio. That should be a book of work or things that happen while shooting for a comp card, but getting those first good 5 shots is important. So if you want to hire a photographer to do that, those are things that you can invest in. And when you do, if you want to earn that money in an easy way, promotional jobs are flexible because you're basically looking at a whole bunch of different things that you could possibly work doing, and then you pick and choose what you want to do, and they'll pay like, okay, you'll work 3 hours, you'll get paid $75, you'll do that for 3 days. That can be just a little chunk of change that's easy to do, being friendly and showing off a product. I've done lemonade. I've done sunscreen. I've done perfumes. I've done lip gloss. I've done I don't even remember what else. Oh, Axe for Men. All sorts of things. There's lots of promotional jobs. I've had was it teens? I don't know, it was guys and girls, and they were booked to go to a concert and pass out stickers, and they got free Levi's and got into the concert for free, and were each paid $17 an hour. So, sometimes these are really great gigs, but they don't mean that, okay, there's jobs out there that pay $17 an hour and $25 an hour, but you have to be there at specific days and times. With promotions, you go and you do one, and then it's not there anymore. It's done, and then you go get another one when you want to, and then you can take off when you have a casting call or a fitting to do, or something like that. You don't have to take those jobs. So it gives you flexibility to be able to do what you want to, and also gives you, that little extra money that you can put towards your expenses, and then, write those off. I'm not an attorney or a tax accountant, but if you make a certain amount, I don't know what the threshold is everywhere, but if you make a certain amount doing the job of being a model, then some of your expenses will be able to be written off. So, you want to keep those, pay attention to that. So there are jobs out there. You do have to pay attention to your market. You do have to pay attention to what your own limitations might be. Your limitations might be your availability. Your limitations might be, some things you can't control. You cannot control your height. And I know that some people are like, oh, I'm a petite model and I'm going to get to be in this, high fashion show. And it's like, they make sample clothing. They make it to be long because that's how they want to show it off. And it's not going to fit you. It's not off the rack yet. It's not made in petite sizes. They might have a couple of items. Some designers have a couple of items, but it's a limitation, not an end all. Not like you can't, but it's a limitation. Ethnicity right now is a limitation for some people. If you happen to be ethnically diverse, if you happen to be ethnically ambiguous, if you happen to be right now, not the Caucasians are having a hard time getting booked because everyone wants ethnic diversity. So, okay, that might be a limitation right now. Things could change, the tide could change. We don't know what the next trend will be. Maybe there'll be a more inclusion thing going on, which would be nice. But right now, if you happen to be someone that we can't tell where you came from, and you have a mixed blend in you or something like that, and you have an exotic look, those things right now are what's booking a lot. So for some people, it's a limitation. For others, it's great. and the tides change and the trends change. So everybody, I think, will eventually get their chance. But at any given point in time, it might be a limitation. Now, another thing you can't really control is your characteristics. Some people have physical characteristics that they're born with that don't help them so much. And some people, I was told I needed a nose job. So maybe that didn't help me so much. But I didn't want one. I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it. This is fine. so that happens. But so maybe somebody needs braces. There's physical characteristics that sometimes become a limitation. Again, not an end all be all, because we do have a whole bunch of castings for a whole bunch of different types, and sometimes just that thing that makes you different will be the thing that they really fall in love with. So you don't know, but certain things might make you not as marketable as someone who's just middle of the road appealing. Sometimes the middle of the road appealing people do really well. Things you can control. Your styling. If you have multicolored hairs going on, you get pink one day and green the next day, and I'm changing it out all the time, and I'm expressing myself through my hair color. If that's something that you're doing, it's probably going to be a limitation. More people in ads are natural looking when it comes to their hair than people that are doing the bright, fun, funky colors. Now, we do get an occasional ask for someone who's got the fun, funky colors. So it's not an end-all, be-all again. It's a limitation. Same thing with the haircuts. If I've had some women that have really, really, really long hair, and it doesn't style as well, and it weighs them down at the top, and we don't even see it like most of the time. Like if my hair was down past my belly button, you're not going to know that all that length is there because I'm in the screen and I'm here. So if it's doing that, and all it's doing is making this flatter, and it's going away down here and they can't see it. So, if you have that kind of long hair and you're really attached to it and you don't want to cut it, remember that's probably going to be a limitation. It's not as easy to style. So that's just something to think about. whether or not you have tattoos. That's something that you can control. You can control whether or not you have tattoos. So the more tattoos that you have, the more difficult it might be for you to get hired. It's a limitation. The more you get, the worse it gets. So there are some jobs that want tattooed people and they want them edgy and that kind of thing, and that happens from time to time. It's not as often as it is when they say, please let us know where your tattoos are, because they want to work their way around it if they can, but they don't want to show them. Now, people that are doing designer clothes and clothing lines, they also don't want to deal with the makeup of covering up somebody's tattoo, because every set, every minute costs money. The makeup artist costs money. Whether or not you get stuff on the clothes from covering up your tattoos, that's another thing that could cause them to have damages, and that costs money. So these are things that may be a limitation. They may just love you anyway. They may really like your tattoos. It might be something that they want. I had a client that really wanted edgy people to look like they're, being young professionals, tattoos, funky hair, but being on a laptop, and they were paying $800 for the day. So it's not like it doesn't happen. It's just not as common. So keep in mind your limitations. If you have things that you can handle and things that you can do, fitness is a thing. Yes, we do have curvy models. They don't get booked as often as people that are more fit. So if that's something that you really want to do, you want to book a lot, then you might consider trying to make some lifestyle changes in your fitness. It's probably good for you anyway. So as much as we enjoy showing all different kinds of people, it's going to behoove you and be good for your career if you should make some changes. What else can we do? What else can we do about this whole thing? Okay, so to change the trajectory of what's going on there, people need to be able to see the difference between a professional talent and an amateur. And actually, it's really, really visible once you see it. Once you see it, it's like you can't unsee it. There it is. So with the professionals show up on time. They have their nails are done the way they're supposed to be. Their skin's the way it's supposed to be. Their hair's the way it's supposed to be. Their model bag is the way it's supposed to be. They know the tricks of the trade. They know how to do the appropriate walks. They know how to pose. They know how to do it quickly and easily with a lot of variety. These are the things that a professional does. Now, if you've been coaching and you think that maybe you aren't coaching with someone who's as professional as you would like to be, then you need to find someone who's done more than you even dream of, perhaps, and listen to them. Take their advice, not somebody who you don't think ever got paid. So find a good coach so that you can learn to be totally professional in this industry. We can tell if somebody's professional based on the photos that they turn into us. If those look like amateur photos, then we feel that you weren't professional because you don't even know the difference between what's industry standard photos and what's not. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. If you turn in stuff and it's got too much makeup, look at the top agencies' websites. Most of those people look like they have very little makeup on. It's very natural, so we can see that their features are the way they are, and that's how the clients can determine whether or not they want to hire them. They know what will happen if they style them and make them up a certain way. So cutting all that back and making sure that we can see you. We need to see you. We need to see your body. We need to see what your shape is, whatever that might be. We need to see it. We need to be accurate in what can be expected when you show up for a job. So to be professional, there's a lot of things you need to understand. I totally agree with being well-trained. There are very few well-trained models out there walking around, and if you are one, you will stand out like crazy, and then you'll be able to demand your pay because you will be different. You will be amazing. You will be incredible. They will want you to show off their lines of clothing. They will want you in their fashion shows. They will want you in your ads. They can tell the difference, and it's like, wow, that was so much better than what we've been doing before. So be as professional as possible. Find your way to be professional. Make sure you have professional marketing. I mentioned that before. Do not show up with 1 or 2 comp cards that you just had printed up at Office Max or Staples or something like that. No, you need professional printing for your comp cards. You need to have a really great website. You need for your Instagram to look like you're a professional talent and not that you're playing around with a bunch of filters and stuff. That's fine for your personal um, social media. It's not what's needed for a professional social media of a talent. So you got to work on those things and make sure that they're up to par, make sure they're up to snuff. You need to look like the professional. Now, it's easy to look like the professional before you actually are professional, if you align yourself with professionals who can help gear you towards creating that while you're learning the skills. And that makes things move a little faster. So, if you can do that, there's great photographers that can give you great direction to help your photos look like you've been working for years. So, if you need recommendations on that kind of thing, I would be happy to help you. Um, I'm getting them from all over the country. I'm figuring out who's people that you could go to and who you could work with that would help. If you need training, I have that available as well. Contact me through my other group, and I'll give you that information in a little bit. Um, you'll want to be with people who can align you with actual clients that suit your characteristics and your limitations. People that go, oh, I know this about you, and that's okay because I see you going in this direction, and this is what you could do. And then listen to those people that have great advice. Listen to those people that have great connections. Align yourself with those who are looking at you as an individual and telling you, okay, this is what I see you for. This is what you'd be good for. And this is how we get you there. That really helps. Make sure you say no. Say no to the things that aren't real. Say no to the things that aren't going to give you actual exposure to anyone of importance. Not just all the models' grandmas. That's a very common thing that happens. If there's some legitimate great photographers at an event, maybe you want to be there. If there's not, and there are a bunch of guys that just do TFP stuff and don't really get paid and don't have quality work and everything's too sexy. We don't need too sexy. If things are too much shadow, too much makeup, we can't sell you when we can't see you. So if that's the kind of work the photographers are doing, and butt pictures. I don't need to see everyone's butt. That's like totally unnecessary. I have not had anyone ask me for photos of my models' butts in 7 years. So, and before that even, when people would come to me and I'd say, I didn't have a talent for this thing. You got anybody that could book this? And then I'd send them to another agency to do that. Even when I was doing that, no one ever asked me to see anybody's butt. So why you're doing pictures like that, I don't know why people do that. That's just nuts. So yeah, none of that. Say no to those things that aren't real. And be firm about it. You don't have to think that you're burning bridges because you're not. You're dodging bullets. Eventually, when you know you are qualified, you are prepared, you are professional, you've done enough, you deserve your pay. That's when I want you to say no pay, no slay. Because if you don't say it, it's not going to happen. It's not. They're just going to keep draining you for everything. They're going to keep, milking you for your time, your effort, your energy, your hopes, all of it. And it won't benefit you. So eventually you go, no pay, no slay. And you may have a slowdown of activity. You won't be busy as much. You won't be working around. You weren't working anyway. You were just running around. You won't be running around as much. But that's okay. You'll get paid. You'll get paid. Maybe not as often, but you'll get paid. And you won't drive yourself crazy, getting frustrated because you're not going anywhere. You'll have more time to pursue the things that might be real. Another thing that you can do truly is to make sure that you are diverse in your skill sets. That's a great thing. If you can, pose, great. If you can walk, great. You should learn how to do a basic commercial so you can talk on camera too. That's important. You may want to learn to dance. You may want to learn to sing. You may want to learn to do some other things activities wise. Get yourself involved in sports so that when those active wear ads come up, you're ready to go for those. Whether or not you can, I know people that are ads on bicycles. I've known people that are in ads doing soccer. You know, there's all sorts of things that you could be learning, doing, paying attention to, practicing that could be really good on camera and that they would want. So develop yourself as best as you possibly can. Um, I am going to bring up another topic. You know, as a talent, as a model. You know, especially these pretty young ladies that are walking around, pretty ladies of any age, are walking around by themselves. And sometimes shoots are in warehouse districts because it's a big space for less money. Sometimes they are, in places where you don't feel necessarily comfortable. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to be, oh, I'm just bad, I'm this tough chick. That doesn't mean you have to be that way. You just have to be ready and prepared in case something happens. I am going to be doing a seminar on this Friday, November 25th at 6 p.m. I'm going to be doing it in my other group, my other Get Real group, which I will tell you about and make sure that you join if you haven't done so yet. I built this community and then decided to pull people from this community onto my own social media network so that there's no ads, there's no disruptions, there's no distractions. I get so distracted on Facebook. Are you kidding? And then I'll watch an ad for something, and then I'll see somebody else's message or whatever, and they're talking about other stuff politics and religion and all that. No, my getrealmodelingandacting.net, which is what it is, and you can type that in, getrealmodelingandacting.net, and when you do that, you can join my free community that's only talking about modeling and acting. Everything that's in there is modeling and acting geared. So everybody that's in there is a model or actor. There is some acting coaches in there, and I believe I've got some designers in there. You wouldn't know them by name. You wouldn't know who's looking at you. But there's a lot of great resources in there. So I would love it if you would join that as soon as possible, because you're missing out on stuff. And there's activities, there's events. I have guests come in and they speak and do interactive live webinars. So we would love to have you as part of that group and help you move forward. I do post my New Faces meetings there, and they're always held on the first Friday of the month. So the December one is coming up pretty soon. So that information is going to be posted along with the link on how to join in on Google Hangouts Meet. And that's what I use instead of Zoom. I find it works much better. So that's going to be in there. Don't miss out on that. I am repping people in new territories. I know I mentioned I was working with people in the Southwest. I am starting to branch out into other areas and grow those divisions so that I can help people in other smaller town markets. I plan to be in Wisconsin in February to scout some talent. So lots going on there. After you join the GetRealModelingAndActing.net and watch the New Faces, I have a great bunch of talent scouts that are my people. So there's Ashley and Jordan and Colleen and Zach is also my booker. Once you're signed to me, you'll get submission notices that he said, I've submitted you to this, I've submitted you to that. Wait and see if they want more from you. So he does that every day for me and make sure that people are constantly being submitted to real opportunities that happen in the real industry. So I hope that this 1 hour of me talking might help you to avoid some things. Oh, some other little hints if you want to do this. You see a website, you're wondering if it's real, right? You see a website, you're wondering if it's real. Take a screenshot of somebody on their agency website and find out if that's a stock photo. Find out if it's on another website. I have seen scammers copy an entire front page of a real agency's website and claim that all those people were their people. But if you clicked on their portfolios, they didn't exist. If you looked up their office address, it was a dance school. So sometimes those things are happening. So as you're looking at these companies and going, is that real? Are they saying things? Oh, one said, what does an agency do? And the response wasn't, we do this. The response was, a boutique agency does this. And it didn't say that they do it. It just said that's what an agency does. So they weren't really an agency. So these are things that you can look at. You know, look at things with a critical eye. Look at things with a sleuthy kind of way, and determine whether or not they're real. Um, I do have people that are booking every day, and submitting people every day for real, actual jobs, and we're going to keep doing that. So if you're interested in being involved with Gray Models and Talent, which is our company that handles non-exclusive talent, so you are still able to freelance. You are still able to work with other people and sign to other agencies as long as they're not exclusively asking for a certain territory that overlaps, ours. Then we go, okay, well, we won't book you there. I don't want to make anybody mad. So we do allow a lot of that kind of thing. We want you to blanket market yourself so that you have people helping you wherever it is that you can work. That makes sense to me. The more successful that you are, the better we all are. So, okay, why not? Anyway, there's information in getrealmodelingandacting.net, which I started to help people be educated and help people to, realize that there's a real industry out there, and we all need to be real people in the real industry. So, real skills, real personalities, real heart, real dedication. Let's all get real, all of us. So that's what that's about. But join getrealmodelingandacting.net. You can see the New Faces meeting for Gray Models and Talent. You can also learn about the Get Real training programs that we have that are available, and you can chat with me there. There's a chat feature just like here. I have 4 Facebook pages for my companies. I have 2 personal profiles. So that's 6 different messengers. I'm not real good at being caught on a messenger because I have to rotate through those all day. If you're part of Get Real, you can message me in Get Real, and I only have one me in Get Real, so it's a direct way to get to me. Other things that are coming up there. I'm doing a safety seminar about staying safe and model safety. So that's coming up on the November 25th at 6. So those things are all posted in getrealmodelingandacting.net, and I would love to see you there. I think it would be phenomenal and hopefully really helpful to you, so that we can get into a culture of no pay, no slay. That is what we're looking for. The more that we do that, the more that they'll be forced to actually offer compensation for all the hard work and professionalism. And that's needed. If we don't do that and models keep walking for free, every designer that gets free models will never pay a model. There's one company that charged people $2,000 and then said, oh, and by the way, you get a photo shoot. So the designer not only is not going to pay models to walk, they're not going to pay models to be in their print catalog either, because they use the photo shoot to do that, to help promote the brand. Yeah, so the more that we say yes to that, the more those clients are pulled directly out of the business. That's not helping you get a paid job. So if people want you to walk for free and you're a professional model, say no. If people want you to pay to walk for them, say no. This is about causing a change so that people have to go, ooh, I guess I need professional models. I guess I need to pay them. And this is the only way it's going to happen. And don't think that doing these things and posting them on your Instagram with the photos of you being in these fashion shows is doing you any good. Because everyone in the real industry looks at it and goes, oh, they've been taken again. Don't let that be you. Put a stop to it. Help me put a stop to it. I plan to go to a lot of news organizations and tell them about everything that I've been seeing lately, because it's a lot. So if you have a story about someone that did this with you, a company that did this with you, I will take you under my wing. I will help you, and I would like to use your story to help make a voice to stop this from happening to other people. So now don't tell me that you just went to an audition and didn't pay for anything, because then you haven't been scammed. You haven't been scammed if you didn't pay for anything. Now, if you've been a model that's walked for this fashion show over and over again and this fashion show over and over again, if that's that, give me just the name of the organization, because I'm going to kind of make a list of things that don't pay models. But the ones that make you pay, if you were somebody who went through that, I'm going to especially want to help you. I'm going to help you try and fix that. So, if you need me, let me know. It's great to do this, great to talk. I talked for a whole hour straight. I think I can do that. I do that a lot. Oh, my mouth just keeps going. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night though. And hopefully I have this recorded and can show it elsewhere. That'd be great. Anyway, I hope you've benefited. I hope you'll join GetRealModelingandActing.net. And I'll see you there. Bye.